Steve, it's 1962. Why are you in your pajamas? What are you wearing?
It's not 1962, it's 2018, dude.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive about that. We're doing, and actually that's really important today because we're doing a little time travel thing, which I know you love. That's your thing.
Love it.
And we're going to kind of take a look at where we started 10 years ago and where we're at today. So let's get right into it and we'll talk about our guests. So we have 4 guests today and we're going to start with Mick Jones. Hey Mick,
hey
how's
guys,
it going?
How you doing? Good to be here.
Good.
Very well. How are you?
Good, man. So let everybody know you're from Australia and you've been working with us a ton. Just tell everybody where you're at right now.
Right now I've got a production company called Filthy Look Films. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and working on a range of things, music videos and commercials and promos for cable network show channels like History Channel, stuff like that.
Cool. All right, let's bring up Lon. Lon, you've worked with us many times in the past. How you doing?
Oh, great. How you guys doing today?
Good. Why don't you give us a little bit about what you're doing these days?
We're still making films at the Bowie Brothers, and live stream related. I direct the live stream for the Minecraft conference every year, and we get a few million viewers. And that one is a pretty intense live stream that we set up. It's basically setting up a cable station to run for 2 days straight.
Cool. All right, let's bring up TC. Here's a guy that I've worked with many times. We actually did an entire web series with TC. And how's it going, man?
It's going well. It's good. It's good to be with you guys again.
I know, it's great. Tell us what you've been doing for a while.
Released another short doc, and now we're working on a doc series that's kind of a mashup between Fast Company magazine and Chef's Table on Netflix, kind of going with the whole series idea.
All right, let's bring up Melissa, who's going to kind of keep us on track here a little bit. Melissa, you're the producer of the show. I know that I switched this show up an hour ago and made your life miserable.
What doesn't break you makes you stronger.
All right, let's get right into this. I want to run this little sizzle reel we made, which is basically what we've done in the last 10 years. What are we doing here?
Well, you should know. You invited me.
You are a fighter, I'm a lover.
We thought you killed us off.
Light is a particle and a wave. Very deep subject.
These basic ABC problems of shooting narrative film, this is a big surprise to a new generation.
I'm a cinematographer.
A cinematographer is a storyteller.
It's like, you know, kind of a cliche, but I think you're born with it.
I have one objective, which is cover this race.
Wow, that brings back some memories.
Really, man, that is hundreds of videos over the last 10 years. Wow, how'd that make you feel, TC? I know you were involved in it. Lon, you were on some of those. Mick, you were on some of those. What do you guys think?
It makes you remember how much things have changed compared to where we are right now.
Yeah. Mick, what do you think?
I can't believe it's been 10 years since all of that sort of stuff started, but yeah, a few good memories in there and a few familiar faces on the Revenge of the Shootout and that kind of thing.
You remember?
Yeah, like TC said, it does kind of make you think that a lot has changed.
I mean, you know? I've met all of you because of that content. I mean, Mick, I met you when I slammed your film in critics. And then I randomly bumped into you in San Francisco, and we've been friends ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, awesome.
Watching that that reel, it really makes me think of how many great connections I've made through filmmaking, and seeing all the faces in there. It's like, wow, those are people that I met on set, met here and there, and now have become friends with. and even worked with a lot of those people. So it's really exciting to look back on the last 10 years.
I know every single one of us have worked on shows together. I noticed Bruce was in there. I think that Mick and me and Lon worked with Bruce, and TC, you were in there with your whole BTS production and your film. All right.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. Oh my God, Jens. Jens, you've been everywhere with me for 34 years, okay? So let's do this. I want to play this clip 1, and I want to get some reactions from this. Everybody in this industry has like one goal. They want to make a movie. But I look at this web and I'm like, oh my God, there's like a million opportunities to get people to watch your stuff. What is the fascination? I mean, you get a movie out there, you'd be lucky in a movie theater to bring in $100,000 unless it's a major Hollywood picture. What's the fascination there?
Well, I think that's generally where you find the largest budget and what everybody grows up watching. Yeah. So there's just some sort of a prestige about the big budget Hollywood movie that's the end goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's something about obviously seeing something on a computer screen isn't as involving as being in a darkened room amongst an audience.
Okay, I want you to hold it in because that was exactly 10 years ago. That was in 2008, and I want to run clip 2 now, and then we're going to have a discussion about that. I would rather personally have 1 million or 2 million people see me, or even a couple 100,000 on the web, as opposed to getting 5,000 in a movie theater.
We haven't had a culture yet of young people that have grown up watching internet video all the time from birth. We're getting there. 5 years, 10 years, that's what you're going to be. Who watches TV, frankly? You don't watch TV at 8 o'clock in the evening, you know, this program's on, you watch it on your DVR or TiVo. Or,
exactly,
you know.
Yeah.
It's only now, recently, that the quality is actually getting there, that video is looking good on the web, whereas before you had YouTube and everything just looked awful. And now you have sites like Vimeo and Exposure Room where you have HD streaming video and it looks great.
Oh, how times have changed. I mean, what he said just now is the complete opposite. My boys are on YouTube all the time. I mean, that is their TV now.
Well, he said that in a way. He said, I mean, past his prologue, he said in 5 or 10 years, you are going to have a generation that has grown up entirely on the web, and your kids are it.
Yep.
Now, the thing that strikes me here, and I'm going to get everybody's input on this, is 10 years ago, I was saying that all I want to do is make documentaries and projects like that and put them on the web. And I was fighting everybody who wanted to put them in a movie theater, saying that really the web, you're going to get all these views. And now Melissa's dragging me into this live thing, which is basically TV, when I just want to be making documentaries and really high quality programming.
Right. There's reasoning behind that, though.
Yeah, and that's really where the audience is. And Steve, I know you've been such a hardliner, you know, against a lot of these videos, but you know, across the board, all the metrics, it all speaks for itself that this is where people are going to watch things. You know, no one watches really over the
I want to hear from TC because TC's a filmmaker like me. We both do documentaries, and look at what I'm doing here, man. We're sitting on a live show when all we want to do is create editorialized, beautiful content.
One of the things I always appreciate about you guys is that you're innovative. I mean, you're hustlers in the sense that you're always willing to look at where the market's going. And so that's really been helpful for me. I mean, I don't like it. I'll be honest. It feels like I'm having to learn to write with my left hand, but at the same time, I'm the consumer of it. So it's like adapt or die type of thing.
Well, you bring up a good point. The point is that okay, let's say we made that a shootout, for instance, because we just did one. The difference is that a camera comes out and we can react within seconds. We got 4 cameras here. I can bring all these people in on Skype. I can have something to the marketplace instantaneously. When we did our shootouts, people were griping that it took a month between episodes because we had 4 editors working round the clock.
It took almost a year to produce it. And so in that amount of time, back then though, thank God the cameras didn't come out as quickly. But I mean, shortly after that, it was old news.
Well, and now the situation is, you know, do we want to, you know, are we going to react in with speed and not have as beautiful a show as we really want? But
it's about the content. So I would say yes, reluctantly, you know.
But look, we've got people. We got somebody in Colorado. We have somebody in Australia. We've got somebody in Las Vegas.
That's the other component here, is the immediacy of not just reactions from customers, but, you know, people that we could never get fly in here, you know, pay to come in, scheduling, all that. So now it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, just putting together.
Go on. And to Jens' point, it's so much more cost effective too. So even producing this show, almost every line item costs us less to be able to get the same information out there.
We have three people in the control room and 0 camera operators. Mm-hmm. The cost to make this show, and we wouldn't have had to fly these 3 people in. When we made that one film, fellas, that you were in, where we had Stephen Goldblatt, Nancy Schreiber, and Rodney, we had to fly them in, put them up, organize schedules.
We got lucky that their schedules all matched for that.
And it was expensive as hell. Lon, what do you say?
I was there for that shoot, and that was a massive undertaking for you guys for, you know, one episode of your show. Mm-hmm. And that same budget can now be spent on such a way more shows. Like, you guys could do weekly shows. This could be the place that filmmakers go to get their news. Like, but what Zacuto is the news channel for filmmakers.
Well, this is a weekly show, just so you know. Right. Zacuto Live is going to be every single week, 11 a.m. CST, and we're going to have different types of shows. So we're going to use our old brands. We're going to have Film Fellas. We're going to have Critics. As a matter of fact, next week is going to be this incredible Critics episode. We're changing it up a bit, where now it used to just be me and Phil. We're going to have me, Phil, and the 2 filmmakers from the clips, and Jens, and the audience chiming in and saying, you know, their comments, and we're going to be reacting to all of that at once. So it's going to be a giant brawl.
That's where it goes crazy, is getting audience interaction. When you guys did the shootout, when you guys did Film Fellas, you get audience reaction after the fact. They can't interact with us. Right. The people that you have on your show, we're not interacting with them. You guys get to interact with them afterwards. Now with this, there's comments everywhere.
Right. I mean, just think about it. People that you know, have a question that while they're watching it, if it's a recorded piece, they're probably not going to, you know, send that email or that post or whatever. It's just not. It's just not as in in the moment. Yeah, immediate as it would be if they could actually talk to us.
What it
on the
reminds
spot.
me of is when you say from that Family Guy, he's like, "I want to buy a gun, but I'm mad now." Yes. There's a waiting period.
That was The Simpsons. Yeah.
But The Simpsons, right?
Yes.
Melissa.
So speaking of that, we have a comment from Kevin Adonis, and he said, but you guys are passing on so much information for inspiring filmmakers by producing these live shows. So, you know, obviously you know him, past guests. What do you have to say for that comment?
I would say I agree. You know, unfortunately, like I said, I'm going kicking and screaming because we're
not talent, for one thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to make films and interesting documentaries and have people go, you know.
This won't completely replace that. I mean, we're still going to be like one-on-one. There's still going to be some things, and the shootouts, you have to record some content like that. Yeah. But then now we can discuss it live and get people involved, you know, even if there is a recorded piece, essentially, you know what I mean?
All right, so Kevin, we're not going to abandon what you're saying, but we are going kicking and screaming into the live future.
Yeah.
Yeah, another viewer, Jorge Beister, he said something similar, and one of his comments was about digesting it differently. So what do you have to say for viewers that, you know, like you are really reluctant to kind of compromise on quality and for live?
I'd say, Jorge, if I had made this show and editorialized it, edited it, and put it out there, I wouldn't be speaking to you right now directly.
Well, if people on Twitter are actually asking about the text that you're using, you know, what are we seeing? So I think this is probably a good opportunity to, you know, kind of talk about the Tricaster system.
All right.
Yeah.
And
the set.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, we have a clip for that, so let's roll that clip. So we're starting in the back of our set here. We wanted to build a permanent set, and as you can see here, we've screwed it all to the ceiling because it is so permanent that we didn't want people tripping over flats and things like that. So all of this is the power, video, audio, everything that's coming down. The set also has a lot of built-in lighting, and let's go and we'll show you how it works here. So Jens, come with me. So this is our kind of a mid-century modern looking set for doing talk shows. We're going to have other sets that we're building here for doing different types of shows, for, you know, showing products and things like that. And then we're going to have a set where other people can come and they can decorate it and do it however they want it. We've got two monitors. We've got this large monitor, which you can have anything on there. You can have graphics, videos, whatever you want. And then we have our 1950s TV here, which is an actual 1950s TV. That was my TV.
Working.
Yes, tubed, really good shape.
It's not green screen if you think that it's going to be green screen like somebody did.
We kind of put this fake wood floor in here and put a rug in here. We bought some furniture and kind of came up with a design look, built all the lighting into it.
So these are from ICANN. These are Lyras 1x1s. These are daylight balanced. I love these though. The quality was really good, the build quality. They're nice and soft. All I did was build these extra long snoots on them so I could control the soft, the soft pool of light that's falling on each guest.
Here you can see we're using these ME200 cameras.
And there's no viewfinder on them, but we don't need them for this situation. Beautiful looking, perfect for our needs.
Let's head into the control room.
All right, well, we're using the Tricaster Mini to bring in all our cameras so that I can switch and control them here. We've got 4 inputs, so we've got 4 cameras, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we've also got our Skype talk show box, which allows us to bring in 4 guests via Skype.
And what makes it hard is that you've got 4 Skype channels, 4 cameras, potentially 4 microphones there. You've got people in the control room, and everybody needs a custom mix. So each person has audio being sent back to them on Skype is minusing themselves, and that's what makes this thing hard. All right, Mick. You're the one that kind of sort of got me first started to think about these live shows. Why don't you tell me a little bit about why you're doing some live shows? Because really, you're a filmmaker and you do music videos and everything, and I know that you're probably going kicking and screaming like me into this live show thing.
Well, what we did was we did a 3-month show last year called Movie Nerds, which was basically, we just filmed it at my studio. We decided to go live to Facebook because the Movie Nerds Facebook channel had, I think at the time, around 45,000 subscribers. So you've got a captive audience. The content was talking about latest released films and behind the scenes kind of stuff about movies and really movie fandom, I guess, in general. But having that sort of captive audience already on Facebook, it wasn't like we were just broadcasting into the ether. They would all get a message on their phone once we started to go live. The other advantage of going live, I think, was that it sort of can cut through the din of having so much content to choose from now. It's on so many platforms that it can become overwhelming. And I actually find myself scrolling through Netflix and just hitting the add later button for half an hour and then not watching anything. But live stuff will come up on my phone. I'll be scrolling through and I'll go, oh, someone's live, I'll watch that for a minute, and if I'm interested, I'll stay on. And we found with our with the Movie Nerds show, we had like initially around anything from a couple hundred people watching at once to 3,000 live viewers, and that grew up to about week on week. By the end of it, we were getting 20 to 30,000 views of the live stream, and it would stay up for 24 hours afterwards. So it was a really good way to reach an audience, and we found getting more live viewers like that than putting a video up, say, on YouTube.
Wow. I mean, Mandy says that I'm going to talk a little bit about YouTube and Vimeo. She says that, and I was kind of shocked when she said this, that we get more views on Facebook than we get on Vimeo or YouTube.
You thought it was all moms, but it's not.
Well, yeah, considering our audience is 92% male, but no, I just thought that, you know, that Vimeo was always the place where we got our views. But I mean, apparently, not even live. I'm just talking regular videos. We're getting more views on Facebook.
Well, the Facebook videos they do such a better job of like integrating themselves into like everything else you do, whereas YouTube is much more of like a destination. So when you think about it, it makes sense.
I guess. I mean, TC, what do you think?
Well, there was two things that how fast this information's, once you try it, like even just the last, we did a test run of this yesterday, and then now the live show. One of the things that it's even got my mind spinning around is, we're working on this film series called Dealmakers. It's a 4-part series, but we've really shaped that content around conversation. And until you guys brought this up, I'd never thought about how this really could play into the distribution strategy of original content, because a lot of the audience wants to talk about what we're making, as far as whether it's a Rising from Ashes about reconciliation or education reform or even entrepreneurship. But this gives a forum, and I've never thought about that until you guys kind of drug me into this haphazardly. But by the way, you look skinnier in this show than you did in those earlier shows.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I definitely am. Thanks. Wait, Lon, I want to ask Lon a question.
It sounds like TC will be coming and using one of the sets.
Oh, God, great. Well, the fact that you're coming will be great. That part's great. But Lon, you've done a lot of live shows. So, how do you feel? Well, I know that you embrace any kind of technology. You don't care.
I love new tech. Yeah, I love new technology. Live streaming, my first real eye-opening exposure to it was when I was in New York City for a photography conference, and I saw a friend of mine, her name's Johnstone, and she was at the time live streaming 24 hours a day her entire life. And I think she did so for around a year, maybe it was more. And I was like, wow, that's compelling content, even though a lot of it is just dead air, her on her computer or whatever she's doing in her day-to-day life. But that really opened my eyes, and that was 10 years ago. That was in about, I think it was 2007 or 2008 when I was exposed to live, and I immediately was like, that has a massive future. And there's so much niche content that's live. Their entire live streaming genres, like video game live streaming, is massive. Every industry has their own big section of live streaming, because the amount of connection you get, even just watching, even if you're not commenting, knowing that it's live, knowing that it's happening right now, is compelling to draw you in, to sit there and watch Justine walk around for a year.
Melissa?
No, to that point, what Instagram is doing, with their stories and Facebook completely copying it. But, for when you look on Instagram, there is now so many more people who are using the stories feature, which for Steve, it's like, a 24-hour video snippet. That is now so much more popular than the photos. And that just goes to Lon's point that people really do care about these snippets of people's lives, even though it might be just a meal.
Well, I mean, in a way,
that thing is like a hybrid live. That's like, it was live for 30 seconds, like 24 or 20 seconds, and then for 24 hours you get to watch it, and it's really fun to follow those stories.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I want to start wrapping this conversation up a bit. I mean, the one thing that's interesting to me is that we're kind of almost like a little CNN here. We have the ability to do everything they have, but we're just little people here, a little teeny company.
Well, that's just it now. It's the, what do they always say, the democratization of whatever.
Hate that.
I know,
I hate that.
But now it's the average guys that can get this sort of level of technology and look.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited about the guests we're going to be able to get now. I mean, this opens up a whole new thing. In fact, we already have some things lined up, don't we?
Oh, I mean, I have got some favors that I have asked out there to various high-profile guests that would say, yeah, sure, I'll do an interview with you. And now I'm going to say, okay, fine, just flip on your Skype thing and we'll do it right now.
Yeah, because otherwise it probably never would have happened if we had to get them here.
No, we're going to get some very interesting guests. There's no question about it. Melissa, I'm going to turn this over to you if you have any other questions, or I know you've got some announcements in that.
I do. Before I go, if anyone has any ideas for shows or suggestions, put them in the comments. And we have a couple of discounts as well. We're doing $75 off any orders of $300 or more on our store. Just use the discount code in the comments. And ICANN is also giving us 10% off their products, and also look for their promo code. With that being said, Steve, will you tell us what the show is going to be next week?
Next week is going to be this Critics. I told a little bit about it before. And I'm really excited because this is going to really change up that whole Critics model. It was one thing to just have two people talking about it. It was basically the Siskel and Ebert show. Now I want to hear exactly from the viewers, from Phil, from the filmmakers, everybody. We are going to mix this thing up, and I hope it's a really conflicting brawl.
Yeah, you're going to get some conflict, which is key here.
Yeah, and the subject is birth, life, death. So we're going to have 3 different clips that are all videos about birth, life, deaths, and your whole life flashes before your eyes kind of scenario. And I think it's going to be an interesting show. And then we have, after that, we have some Film Fellas episodes. We're going to do another one-on-one. It's great. We're going to be doing all these different kinds of things under our Zacuto Live umbrella. So I want to thank our guests. TC, so amazing to see you again. Every time we get together, I missed you at NAB because I didn't go this year, and we always sit and chat. You're a great guy, dude, man. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, TC.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Lon, good to see you. I'm going to see you in like a week or 2. We're coming to LA. And Mick,
awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome. And Mick, you're planning your trip to the U.S. here. It better be soon, and I'll see you. Well, you'll be staying with me, so we'll be good there. And Jens, this was a pretty cool first live show.
I'm excited to get them going.
I know. It's going to be neat. All right, so let's sign off and thank everybody for watching.